Good morning, yogis. Thank you for joining me for this static 30 practice. My name is Julie. If we haven't met before, hello. Today for practice, you're going to need a strap. A belt will do. We'll use it as a device to hold our feet. So if you have a strap, make a loop that your foot's going to fit within. And then I'd recommend 2 blocks. Books work well here. Anything that's going to give you support. We'll place those at the top of your mat. This morning we're going to start in constructive rest, so you're going to lie on your back. Separate your feet max distance apart, and as you roll onto your back, take one or both arms overhead, stacking the elbows, and then knocking the knees together. Taking a moment to acknowledge what it took to get here this morning, to arrive on your mat. And then starting to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing 3-dimensionally into the side body, the back body, you focus on this breath, start to cultivate an intention for practice. Intentions can be simple: a word, a person, a place, a color, your favorite flower. As you gather that thought, let's seal it with a breath. Bring it in, inhale, and then open mouth, exhale, let the breath go and share the intention with the world. Drawing the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the shins, give them a little squeeze as you flex your toes. Maybe taking the hands just to the outsides, or maybe even grabbing on to opposite wrists, finding yourself in a tight little ball. Extending your left leg out, keep the right leg interlaced, and then interlace the hands on top of the shin as you draw the knee around the ribs, giving yourself a little squeeze. Feeling the pinching sensation here in wind removing pose. Taking the right arm out to the side, use the left hand to slowly draw the knee across the body, taking yourself into a twist. Being gentle with yourself. Going to a place where you achieve a nice stretch. Keeping your left leg long and active, flex the foot and rotate the big toe to the midline of your mat. Take a breath. Inhale, draw the right knee back to center, give it a little tug, a squeeze, and then switch out, flexing the foot. Draw the knee in, and then once again flex the right toes, pull the big toe toward the midline of the mat. Feeling now the pinch on the left side, this compresses our descending colon. And then rotating the grip, so the left hand goes out to the side, the right hand, and the eye gaze goes over the left shoulder. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, slowly bring yourself back to center. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. And then once again, tuck the right foot into the left. Rock side to side, massage the spine. And then taking the hands underneath the knees, taking a few rocks, come up to the seat. And then we're going to turn and do some Kapalabhati breathing. Take the block, place it underneath your sits bones, and then draw your feet so that your feet are hugging the block, sitting up nice and tall. If you haven't done this breath before, you're going to breathe in, and you're going to make a snapping exhale, and then I'll count down at the end. You can take one hand to your belly so you're feeling the undulation. Take an inhale breath. Shh, 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 shh. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the breath. Breathe in. And then breathe out. You can remove the block here. We're going to take an inhale breath, reach our hands high up overhead. Interlace the fingers. And then fold the body over to the right side, looking over your left ear, taking a kneeling half moon position. Alternate grip might be to drop your right hand down, grounded into the earth, as your left hand reaches up and over, focusing on finding the stretch through your side body, drawing the bicep close to the ear, and then relaxing space between the chin and the chest. Take an inhale breath, reinterlace the hands, reach up nice and tall, and then exhale, fold yourself over to the left. Take the eye gaze up towards your elbow, and again, if you dropped your hand, here, do so again. Reach up and over, stretch. Pressing down into your seat as you inhale, rise back up. And then taking the hands now to interlace at your low back, taking a back stretch here. So interlace, pull the fingers down, and then lift your eye gaze up. Focus on knitting the ribs together. Pull the belly in so that you can find this stretch through your back, through your shoulders. And then let your eye gaze come to neutral. Inhale those hands up one more time. This time we're going to do a kneeling cat-cow. So take an inhale breath, lift your heart up. And then on the exhale, curl forward, arch the back like an angry cat. And then inhale, come back up. Exhale, curl. Inhale up. Exhale, curl. One more. And then pulling the hands down. Placing your fingertips on the ground, step your feet back. And we're going to come into a puppy dog pose. So for here, we want to stack our hips right over our knees and then just walk the hands forward so that your chin and then maybe your chest can come down to the ground. Take a couple breaths. On your next breath, you're going to inhale, slide forward into a Sphinx pose, letting your hips and the hip flexors drop to the ground. The arms are parallel to one another, making a number 11. We're going to take an inhale breath and just slide the heart forward. Lifting the chin up. And then take the eye gaze over the right shoulder. Try to find your left toes. Inhale to center, push down, lift up a little more. And then eye gaze goes over your left shoulder. Look for those right toes. Inhale, come back to center. Press down into the ground once more. Lift the heart. Hold and breathe. Very nice. Keeping the arms in the Sphinx pose position, we'll start with the left side this time. Bend your left foot. And then just lifting the toes up. Take an inhale breath, scoop the heart just as you did in Sphinx. And then lowering the heart down just a little bit as you flex the foot. Try to lift the knee off the ground. Maybe pulse it. Lower the leg. And then switch to the other side. Start with the point. Push down through the arms. Think about touching the back of the head with your big toe. Very nice. Now flex the foot, lower down just a little. And then focus on lifting the heel off the earth as if you were stamping the clouds. Very nice. Take an inhale breath, lift your heart up. Pull those elbows in. And then drawing the hands right beside the rib cage, you can press into a tabletop pose. Open the hands so that they're hips distance apart, thumbs point towards one another, index shine forward, tuck the toes into the earth, and then lift your hips up, find your downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pedal the down dog out, shimmy the hips side to side, drop the head below the shoulders, rise onto the toes, taking a turbo dog, squatting down nice and deep, or lifting and alternating the leg grip. And then setting up a nice firm static dog. So the fingers are pressing into the mat as if you were pressing starfish into the sand. Your hips are lifting up towards the sky, and then your eye gaze is dropping up between your inner thighs or gazing towards your belly button. Take 3 breaths. On the next breath, we travel, slowly starting to walk the feet all the way up towards the hands. Taking an inhale breath at your arrival, inhale, lift and lengthen, flatten out the back. And then exhale, fold, belly comes down. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Once more, breathe in, lift and lengthen, flat spine, try to draw the shoulders down the back, knit the ribs in, pull the belly up, and then exhale, fold. Right foot stays forward, come center on the mat, left toe step to the back of the mat, and drop the left knee for a low lunge pose. We're going to take an inhale breath as we sweep those arms high up overhead. Finding our first lunge, starting with knee stack, hip stack over knee. Take an inhale breath as you interlace the fingers, and then drop them over to the right side. On your inhale breath, roll forward. Taking that cat-cow, so inhale, lift up. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift up. Rolling over to the left side. Inhale, back to center. Take your hands to your low back, interlace your fingers, drop your shoulders back. Think of knitting the ribs together, pull the belly up and in, and then drop the head back softly. Pull your fingertips down towards the back of your thigh. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale your hands high up overhead. This time we're coming into half splits, so you're going to scoop, hook, and scoop the foot forward. Flex through the toes. Take an inhale breath, puff up your heart, and then on your exhale, swivel your hips. So left hip draws forward, right hip draws back. Forehead reaches towards the shin. Actively flexing the toe and draw the big toe to the midline of the mat. Breathe in. Breathe out and fold. Breathe in. And out and fold. Hold for your last breath. And then inhale, come back up to center. Slowly walking your fingers over to the right side, so taking that IT band stretch. You can stay here, or you can use your hand to gently coax your toe to the midline, taking your eye gaze to the back of the mat. One breath. And then inhale, come back to center. Walking the hands around, so the opposite side of the mat, coming into a gate pose setup. Taking the hands upon the hips. Ground through your foot, and then inhale, reach your hands high up overhead. Side body stretch. Dropping the fingers, reaching them over, trying to touch the toes. Keeping everything in alignment here, so finding the side body stretch, making sure that the hip is stacked over the knee. One more breath, reach out. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale, come back up. And then left hand's going to come down to the ground, right hand reaches up. Start with just a stargazer stretch, so reach up and back, shining the heart. And then bring it back up to center, reaching the fingers over, up overhead as you lift your right foot off the ground. Taking a moment to balance in a short half moon. Take a breath in, reach the fingers and toes. And then exhale, pull in the belly, elbow and knee connect. Take a moment to find the static position here. You can flex the foot, you can point the foot, whatever's going to help you contract in this movement. One more breath, push the knee into the elbow, and then inhale, find the release, lengthen it out. Some work, fingers come down, walk hand over hand, come to the top of the mat, and then lunge back. Tucking the toes into the ground, step right foot back to meet left. Let's hold in a plank for 2 breaths. Breathe in. Belly comes up. Tailbone comes down, heels press away, and then crown of the head lengthens forward, shoulders roll down the back. One more big breath. And then lower to the knees, find yourself back in tabletop. And then you're going to lift your left foot and step it forward. Again, scooping and hooking the foot if needed. Take an inhale breath, arms come up, our low lunge, Anjala Asana. Roll the shoulders down the back, rotate pinky fingers in. Starting with the stack, so hips over knees, knee over ankle. Nice strong lift up, breathe in. Interlace the fingers, folding to the left to start. Feeling that stretch along your right side body all the way up to the fingertips. Try to relax the shoulders from the ears. And then inhale, slowly come up. Actually roll forward and over to the right. One big breath. Inhale up to center. Drop the hands to the low back. Interlace your fingers. Roll the shoulders down the spine. Inhale, puff up your heart. Exhale, relax the shoulders down your back. Inhale, arms come high up overhead. Watch out for your irises. Exhale, fingers come down to the ground. And then send the hips back. So scooping, extending the foot forward, and then flexing through those toes for your hamstring stretch. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, fold down. Ardha Hanuman. Roll the shoulders down the back. Release the space between the ears and the shoulder tips. On your inhale, slowly rise. And then take the hands across the body, taking that IT band stretch. So just planting the hand. You can use this hand alternatively to rotate the big toe down, or you can start to stretch your fingers back, wherever you're going to feel that warming of fascia on the outside of your thigh. One more breath. We walk hand over hand. Starting with gate, inhale the arms high up overhead. Ground your left foot into the mat. And then dropping the fingers down to the side body, letting no tension here as you reach up and over. Roll the shoulder down the back, do your core squeeze, and then inhale, come back up. Right hand comes down, fingers reach overhead. Glue them into the mat and then lift your leg off the earth. Finding that nice stack of the body, take a deep breath in, rotate your eye gaze. Maybe open your arm, find that chest expansion and stargazing. Bring it back, square it off. Big breath in, and then exhale, squeeze and extend. Squeeze in this time and hold. Push the knee into the elbow, elbow into the knee. Find that isometric hold as you squeeze. Inhale, lengthen it out. Toes come back, walk your fingers around. Plugging the fingers into the ground, lift your right leg up to meet your left. Forward fold top of mat. Separate your feet so they're hips distance apart. Again, you're not going to need the blocks just yet, but you're going to want them set up at the top of the mat. Take an inhale breath, come up halfway, lift and lengthen. Belly comes in, spine and back come straight. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time you're going to inhale, lift your chest, interlace your fingers on your low back, slowly start to rise up. So you're coming into Utkatasana, the awkward variation. Lift your eye gaze, but your hands are in a different position. So roll the shoulders down the back, knit the rib cage together, take a deep breath in, see if you can pull your fingers down, and then inhale, scoop them forward. Exhale, swim them back. Inhale and forward. Exhale and back. The legs are static, they're strong, they're engaged, the toes are lifted. A couple more movements. If it feels better, you can always hold. One more. And then inhale, rise up to stand. I'm going to take the second variation of this posture, which is lifting the heels off the ground. Roll the shoulders down so the arms stay parallel. Take a big breath in. Try to hug those ankles together even though they're separated. Your first option is to stay. Your second option is to bend your knees and envision your back sliding down one of our sweaty mirrors at the studio. Take 2 breaths. Maybe challenge yourself by lowering or lifting a little. Inhale, rise up to stand. Exhale, relax the arms. Give everything a little shake. Take a big breath in, reach your hands high up overhead. And then exhale, fold them down. Step up to the top of the mat, making sure those blocks are in position. You're going to take an inhale breath, reach your arms high up overhead. Palms come into heart center. And then we're going to pivot. Step your left foot out so it's at the width of the mat. Right toes are going to point at a 45 degree, towards the top of the mat. Back foot is parallel. Take an inhale breath, and then exhale, lower down. Set yourself up for warrior 2 through the legs. So finding those adjustments, making the stance nice and wide. Looking one day to take this thigh so it's parallel to the ground. Focus on knee stacking over ankle, and then knee going over middle toe. Once your legs are static, draw your chest so it's square to the center of your mat, and then extend your arms out. Eye gaze goes over your front fingertips. Shoulders roll down your back. Belly zips up. Breathe in. Breathe out lower. Breathe in. Breathe out lower. On your next breath, you're going to take an inhale breath. You're going to reach forward, and we're going to exalt. So you're going to drop your left hand down. Your legs do not move. Your right hand comes up. Today I'm going to encourage the bind. Look at your lower body. Keep it strong, and then rotate your hand behind your body. Do not move the trunk of the body to make this grip. Your hand eventually will place on the top of the thigh, and the legs stay exactly as they were. One more breath here. Undo your twist. Arms out. Straighten through your front leg. That block is going to be needed on this next pose. Straight leg triangle. Take an inhale breath. Lengthen. Keep your hips static. Reach forward, and then drop your hand down. Your block can be on the front or behind the foot, and then you're going to extend your left hand up. Think about engaging through the core and keeping your triangular shape through your legs. Imagine your heels are pulling together to squeeze those inner thigh muscles. Your hand can always just stay on your hip if this starts to fatigue the shoulder. Take a big breath. And then slowly start to rise back up. Hands come onto the hips. Step in, and then step to the top of the mat. We're going to change to the other side. Take an inhale breath, reach your arms high up overhead. Nice long breath in. Exhale, long breath out. Hands come into heart center as you step to the back of the mat again. Set up the feet, parallel, point forward. Adjust those hips so that they're shining towards the sides of your mat. Inhale the arms long. Take an inhale breath, puff up the chest. And then exhale, bend down into those knees. Eye gaze goes over your front fingers. Core lifts up and then tucks in. Breathe in. Exhale, lower. One more. Exhale, lower. We'll reach forward for our exalted warrior and then drop our hand back. Fingers reach up and then behind you so you can find the side body stretch yet again. And then again, if you wish to try the bind, your hand is going to come behind you and then it's going to tuck into the hip crease. Keep that low back nice and engaged. On your inhale breath, come back. Straighten out your front leg for straight leg triangle. Take an inhale breath, lift up. Exhale, hinge. Hold onto that hip for support. Drop the hand down. You can take the block behind or in front. And then rotate your eye gaze up. Squeeze those inner thigh muscles and then extending the hand if you wish. inhale, breath lifts. Hands onto the hips. Pivot, step to the top of the mat. Shine your palms, breathe in. Open mouth, exhale, breathe out. As we lower down onto the ground, inhale your arms high. Exhale, fold down. Fingertips come to the ground. Step down onto the knees. Take the block between the inner thighs. Give it a nice squeeze. Lift up. Take an inhale breath. Reach your hands high up overhead. Interlace the fingers. Fold over to the right, the center, and then the left. Inhale up. Let's go the opposite direction. And then take the hands to the low back. Taking a variation of camel this time. So take an inhale breath, puff up your heart. And then exhale, draw your fingers down. As you knit your ribs, pull the belly in, squeeze through the inner thighs, relax the shoulders. Big sip of air in. Exhale, deepen. Breathe in. Exhale, deepen. One more breath. Very nice. Inhale, return to center. Take the block out from underneath. Here's where you're going to need your strap. So once again, small loop about the size of the foot. It's going to go back here. Plugging the hands into the earth, step into a plank pose. We're going to take a big breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Once you arrive on your belly, we're going to take Cobra Bhujangasana. Press the tops of the feet into the ground so firmly the knees lift, and take an inhale breath. Peel the heart. No weight in the hands. Hands can lift to ensure that. Eye gaze goes down, neck is long. Breathe in, lift up again. And then one more breath. Exhale, release it down. Come onto your forearms as you did in Sphinx pose before. You're welcome to just use your hands if you'd like. We're going to take our right hand and make it parallel to the top of the mat. Your left hand is going to swim back and then find your foot. You're going to rotate the chest down and then just gently draw the heel towards the glute. Softly pushing down into the right hand. Again, using the strap if that's what's needed. As you do this, position yourself so that you're not on the kneecap, you're on the femur, so you're on the top of the thigh. One more breath. Take your arms out to a T, and then we're going to roll onto the right shoulder, so opening up through the left side body. You can find your foot if that feels good, starting to prep that hip flexor. Gently undo, take your hand back to center. Prep yourself for the other side, so this time the left forearm comes parallel to the top of the mat. You're going to bend through the right knee, and then you're going to find the foot. Again, the strap can be used here. Just going to gently draw the heel towards the glute. As you push down into your left palm, think about zipping up your core. Centering your weight on the top of the thigh, not the kneecap. One more breath. Find that nice top of the thigh stretch. Gently release. And then allow the arms to come out to that T shape again. Roll over and then reach back. Maybe pick a flower. One final breath. Open back up. Taking your hands underneath your chest. Turning yourself over. And then ending in a pose that feels restful in your body. Constructive rest, hands upon the heart. Or just taking a traditional Shavasana with the legs nice and long. Breathing in and breathing out. as long as your body needs and allows. Drawing yourself into a fetal position when you're ready to move back into your day. Giving pause here as we're reborn from our mats, as we're reborn every day with a fresh start, fresh perspective. Gently push yourself up. Finding yourself in a comfortable seat. Pulling your hands together at heart center. Taking a moment to express gratitude to the world right now. Breathe in. Exhale, share that energy. Placing the thumbs at the third eye center. The light, love, and honor in me honors the light, love, honor in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day. I miss seeing all your sweaty, smiling faces, and I hope we're reconnected soon.